Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for yet another conversation. I have with me Mr. Jaydeep Basu, a veteran with a 37-year career as a sports journalist. He has significant contributions to renowned publications, including the Statesman, the Hindustan Times, and the Telegraph for over 13 years. His last stint was heading the communications and media for AIFF. Not to say, but he's also the author of two books, Stories from Indian Football and Box to Box, two of India's most reputed books on football. So, welcome and thank you for joining Mr. Jaydeep Basu.
Thank you, Sanjeet, for your kind words.
All right. My first question, because we were discussing this during our last conversation, was, as a Indian football fan, a disappointment of losing 3 points against Bangladesh. I would say a lackluster performance by the Blue Tigers. Your views?
There is no second saying with it. Uh, I think what you have said is in the mind of everybody. It's a it's a lackluster. It's a more than the disappointing results. It is a lackluster performance. Never throughout the 90 minutes we could see, even before the 2 minutes before the start of the match. I personally felt this match could be won. Despite our not so encouraging results in the last 15 months, I was confident that we will win this match. After all, what do you call it? We are 127 or 126 in the ranking, and we are playing against a team which is 182 or 185 or something like that. So I was confident that we will win. But in 10 to 15 minutes, my confidence was not only shaken, completely shaken in 15 minutes. First, after watching the match for the first 15 minutes, my confidence was not only shaken, completely shaken, but I was also scared that will we be able to come out of this match with at least 1 point in pocket. Because if you see the 90 minutes of match, never once we felt confident about one thing, that in case we concede a goal, I felt we are not in a position to equalize. So throughout the second half, I was praying, despite India in the second half were more organized and played perhaps a shed better game than they did in the first half. But throughout the second half also, I was praying in my mind that at least don't concede a goal. If you concede a goal, then we may have to leave 3 points of the pitch. But thankfully, that didn't happen. We have at least come out with 1 point, though it is what you say. I won't say that we came out of the ground with our heads high, but we managed to scramble through with at least 1 point in our pocket. And that itself looked enough at the end of the 90 minutes at that point of time. Yes, Sanjeev, you are absolutely right. You are spot on when you said it's a lackluster performance. It was a lackluster performance in all fronts.
Yeah, I mean, no words, and you are absolutely correct that we were hoping for a better performance. To that point, I would maybe draw your attention to Sunil Chhetri, right? Sunil Chhetri was Manolo's trump card, just in terms of Manolo having a player who could score goals. Now, not only could Sunil Chhetri score that important goal for India, but also just in terms of Sunil Chhetri, the brand, how does it impact him as well?
Ah, I won't blame Manolo because I am very, very confident that Manolo Marquez has no axe to grind in India. He's not a he has come here only for 4 years, so he has I won't say that he has a special liking for any player, but I feel Manolo was desperate. In the last 4 matches he found that none of his players could score. Not even one player of him was scored. That he found out. So perhaps that is the reason he took him, because he wanted somebody to score. And Sunil Shetty has a very good record against Bangladesh. The last 6 matches, I'm not talking about the Asian Games match, that was not a senior team match. So last 6 matches, he has scored 6 times against Bangladesh. So to hope that he will be able to score a goal against Bangladesh, at least that all important goal, which is becoming as elusive as El Dorado for Indian football perhaps. So uh, he was not his. I won't say that he was his trump card. Perhaps it was his last resort. He wanted to say that find somebody who will at least find the net. So he gambled. It was nothing but a gamble, and it failed. Had he scored, we would have said it's a great gamble, and it's a what a vision it is, which unfortunately didn't happen. But at the same time, you were saying how it will impact his career.
Yes.
Yeah, because he made a comeback after 286 days, and it was a trumpet comeback. He got a goal against the Maldives, and everything was going so fine. So now, whether his career will, at least international career, will come to an abrupt end, or whether he will be selected for the next round of matches against Bangladesh, Hong Kong, Singapore, the other teams in the Group C. I think Group C or Group A. I think they are Group A. So, so that needs to be seen. Yeah, it will. I don't know how it will impact his career, because he's at the end of his journey. He has been doing well in domestic football. So, and he has served India for a very long time. So, overall, it may not be a great, but uh, his comeback attempt has somehow not generated the same result which all of us expected to. That I can say. And again, Sunil Chetri did not get crash. He didn't get crash into the national team. He was selected for the national team. So those who selected him, they will have to answer. It is the All India Football Federation will have to answer for what they have done. Because when he was selected, if I remember correctly, both the AFF president and the secretary said welcomed it. In fact, secretary even said that it was a wise move on the part of the coach. So it is for them to answer whether this was right or wrong, not for Sunil Chitri.
Got it. So, just, while we were talking about, the way how India played and Sunil Chetri, just looking at, Bangladesh, if I have to look at their team, was it the Hamza influence, or is it just beyond, Hamza and more about the Bangladesh team making an impact? What are your views in terms of how Bangladesh approached the game?
See, Bangladesh were a much more confident side than they were, and they, they did everything to inspire the team. They shut down their league and had a 24-day camp in Saudi Arabia. Then they came to India 4 days before the start of the match to acclimatize themselves with Shillong weather. Their president traveled from Dhaka to attend the match. So, and of course, Hazma Chaudhary was a. I'm coming to that point later. Hazma Chaudhary influence also because Hazma Chaudhary not this is a part of the entire effort. They have a new management who are trying to organize things, trying to do better, which is the right approach, the right way of doing things. But if you compare with their counterparts for the moment, it is India. What was their approach? Did anybody in the AFF, as I said in the previous match, spoke about it. The AFF president, the Bangladesh Football Association president, Football Federation, Bafufe, as they say it in Bengali. Bafufe president was there in Shillong. He could apply for a visa and take all the pain of coming all the way to India, go to Guwahati and travel through a car for 5 hours to come back, come to Shillong to inspire the team or to motivate the team or to be there with the boys. Why? What did Indian AFF president did? For the last 1 week, he's sitting in Delhi. He's in the office, in the AFF office. Did he make one tweet? One single tweet he hasn't even made, hasn't even tweeted where he asked the team to do well, where he wished the team to do well, where he wished the boys the best of luck. He was missing from Shillong action. Couldn't he at least go at least once to Shillong to pat the boys on the back, have a meeting with them, tell them, please let me know what are your problems. I'll try to solve. This is a very important match. The entire nation is looking at you. Please do better so that we qualify. If we qualify, it's good for your future, not only for Indian football future, but for all of you will be benefited out of it. Indian football will be benefited. Did he do it? So what AFF did for the players or for the team? Nothing. So here the contrast is, and if you talk about Hazma Chaudhary, he's a wonderful player, which we saw yesterday. He pulled the strings in every Bangladesh movements, whether it is in attack, whether it's in defense, and his presence has completely changed the complexion of Bangladesh confidence. Not only their game, their confidence have gone up so heavily because we have seen in the past India-Bangladesh matches. This is a changed Bangladesh side. And again, I am saying Hazma Chaudhary is a great player. He's a very fine player, no doubt about it. But he's not the only reason. The effort has come from all sectors, from all stakeholders to take the team to this level. So overall, our approach was, as you said it, lackluster, sloppy, and their approach was much more smarter and correct to the situation.
Yeah, I think what you said is absolutely there. I thought Bangladesh came with an intent to make an impact, and not only just the players and the coach, but I think the entire federation, everybody came together to support the boys. I think it's a one team, which showed from the Bangladesh camp, but at least from the Indian camp, it just looked like the players and the coach. Not too much support, from the AIFF, the governing body, in terms of motivating, and that is something which we spoke about during our last conversation as well. Just a follow up on that. Do you think if we would have changed the venue, so while Shillong, we were playing, but do you think changing the venue to maybe a Kolkata where you have more Indian spectators backing the players could have made the difference? Because it was an important match.
Actually, I feel it very strongly. From the day one, I have been saying this match should be played in Calcutta. Because as I said, the political situation is such that India-Bangladesh relation is not exactly at its best at the moment for different reasons, which we shouldn't get into in this show. But there is a sense of rivalry to beat each other, and India being a bigger country, Bangladesh will be more keen to beat because everybody wants to beat the big brothers. So that's no crime. That's the way the world is. That's the way sports is. So taking the India-Bangladesh match to Calcutta at the Salt Lake Stadium, it would have been very beneficial because you would have got 60,000 people on the ground, and they would be supporting India only, not the other team. So that's the way home matches are played. You whatever benefit you can derive out of your home advantage, you try to always do it. But in this case, it was not done. We had only 15,000 spectators. I think 14,998 or something like that. 15,000. Let's
Yeah.
call it 15,000 spectators. That's the capacity of the ground, I believe. So and uh, we didn't uh, see. I'm not blaming the spectators. They perhaps didn't get a chance to cheer India also because our boys played such sloppy football. They must have been got disappointed very early. But a bigger crowd, bigger show, I think it could have done a lot better than what it did. I'm not saying that in Calcutta we would have won the match. With the kind of football we played, wouldn't have. We won't win the match, whether even if it is played in Maragana or Wembley, doesn't matter. But maybe it would have helped.
Got it. No, fair point. So, now obviously, there is, the performance, there is the overall way of how the Indian football is being handled from a management standpoint. Now, if I have to ask you my next question, that what is next for Indian football? Because if I take a look, the last time we won an official match was way back in November 2023 against Kuwait. And obviously, the expectation was to beat Bangladesh, which was a much more lower ranked team than us. So, what is next for us? I mean, as a football fan, I mean, what should I expect?
Yeah, official match means to you mean to say in a competitive
Competitive.
tournament.
Yes.
Otherwise, the Maldives match is also an official FIFA friendly, so that will be counted as an official match. Well, let's give credit to them for that. But if you ask me that what's next for Indian football, this question you should ask the AFF officials instead of me, because I don't plan things. It is they who do plan things. And I'm sure if you ask them this question, they will have a blank look on their face. They have nothing. Do you know when is the next camp? Do they know when India are playing the next matches, next set of matches, and how it will be planned? I don't think so. A technical committee meeting was held, but I am not very sure that this was beyond Bangladesh match. Anything was discussed. I have my doubts. So, so I also prefer to give you a blank look if you ask me that what next for Indian football. It will go like this. We will once again get involved in the domestic football, and there will be some hue and cry about whichever team is winning which trophy about that. And we might just wake up a month before the next match, call a habit camp, have a 6 or 7 days of training, 6 or 7 training sessions, and go again to play and come back with disappointment writ large on our faces. Like a young friend of mine whose football knowledge is exceptional. So I was telling him today morning that it was a disappointment. I liked his reply. He said, "Yes, sir, but uh, disappointment is becoming a regularity."
Yeah, I think, that is the irony of the situation. I think, a very hard-hitting statement that disappointment has become a regularity. I think, and that is and that is true. So while, you are absolutely correct that, we don't see any plans to develop the national team. I think, more focus on the local games, but not too much focus around how the Indian national team would, think, strategize, plan way ahead of playing. But if I have to, ask you my last question, just in terms of the AFC qualification, uh, you know, how are you looking at? Because see, I mean, we are going to play Bangladesh again, and that's going to be an away match for us. But what are your thoughts, your views on that?
Uh, all I can say, I'm scared. After yesterday's match, I'm very scared because when the draw was made, I think it was in KL only, Kuala Lumpur only. We were delighted looking at it, and I was delighted at least that it's a group where we can easily go through, even if there is only one team going from there. Here, the margin of error is very few. Actually, there is no margin of error in it, left in it, because only one team will go through. But when we cannot beat a team which is 185 or 182, then how do you expect us to go out and beat Hong Kong and Singapore? We can beat. I am confident we can beat all of them, even outside India, even in away matches. These are the team we have the capability to beat them. But for that you have to plan. You have to you have to understand one thing. You have to make a choice what you need. Domestic football, what is your priority? Your domestic football or your national team? Every time I call a camp, every time if somebody wants a longer camp, then you immediately flash the FIFA rules, saying that as per the FIFA rule, players are only available for 3 days or 4 days before, whatever the FIFA rules. Very fine, but that's a rule which is suitable for European nations. All FIFA rules are made keeping because they keep the European nations in mind. There it is fine. India, it is not fine. See, if you look at yesterday's match, it was the problem was of understanding. We are not a great skillful team. We never been. We never been. Let us admit that fact. Compared to the other countries, the other top nations, football playing nations in this world, our our skill is limited. So to overcome that, what you need to play together for more time, to spend more time together, so you know each other well. Whether this boy can give a 20-yard pass or this boy can give a 30-yard pass or the other stop. So unless and until you have that understanding, because to overcome the other weaknesses, you have to put up what I call it an effort together, and for that you need longer time. So you have to make a choice. What is your first priority? If you say domestic football is my first priority because it's as per the FIFA rules, these are the, it's fine. Then go ahead. Then don't expect the national team to do well. It's very clear. In my mind, it is very clear. And if the national team problem is, you can go ahead because your commercial value of your domestic tournaments is more. If you feel that is more to be the commercial aspect of the leagues, everything, because there is a huge money involved. You cannot compare Bangladesh league with Indian leagues. The financial is much more in India, no doubt about it. But at the same time, you also keep in mind that if the national team doesn't do well, then all your efforts will go astray. It has to. Nothing will improve. Your domestic football will also not improve. So the choice is AFF's. It is very surprising that it is now the AFF officials who, at a drop of a hat, show the FIFA rules. Whenever any coach asks them for a longer camp. So we have to be practical and we have to look at the mirror and ask ourselves what we are. And then only we can do something.
No, I think a very good point. And Mr. Basu, I think the way how I would look at is that how do we strike a very fine balance between playing domestic as well as giving a much more longer time for the Indian players to come together, whether it is camp or playing friendly matches, before we start expecting them to win. I think. And that is something which I think is the question which the AIFF officials now need to start thinking, that are they prioritizing domestic or is the national team? And as you correctly mentioned, that if we don't win, it will eventually impact the national leagues as well. I think it's a very good point which you did, and I think we need to maybe delve a little bit more just in terms of what is the right balance, because you can't have either one. You have to have a balance between both, and the idea is how do you strike that balance. But thank you so much for your time, Mr. Jaydeep Basu. I think we are just on time, but we are really looking forward, and hoping, as Indian football fans, that uh, there is magic. We stand behind the Blue Tigers, and hope that at least the performance can be reinvigorated, revitalized, so that we win the match, the next upcoming match. Your last thoughts before we close the show?
See, my last thought before the show is, before we come to the end of the show, is that what happened yesterday, don't blame Manolo for it. Don't blame Sunil Chetri for it. Don't blame Liston Kolas or Farooq Chaudhary. Blame those who are sitting in Delhi at the football house and planning things or having no plans in mind. It is their duty. They should come together and find a solution. And if they can't, actually, it's now a long time. In 15 months without winning a match, and they can sit peacefully, then they should submit their put down their papers and go home and ask somebody to manage things. Because now it is for any football fan. I don't think they are left with any patience anymore. Any patience anymore. I don't think anybody has any more patience. They want something to be done, and this was the easiest group. And if we uh, if we cannot go out of this group to play the 2027 AFC Championship Asian Cup Championship finals round, then that could be the last nail on the coffin of Indian football. This I am telling you, Sanjeet, mark my words. This is now going to a dangerous. We are on the brink of falling from the Grudge partners.
No, so no mincing words. I think, Mr. Jaydeep Basu, absolutely, the writing is on the wall. This is I think, the inflection turning point, that if the governing body, doesn't, the federation doesn't really come up with a strategy, a plan to revive back Indian football. I think we are just going down south, and there's no way of coming back. Point taken. I hope all our viewers and the governing body, if you are listening, I think there are questions which needs to get answered, by the governing body, the federation, to ensure that we see the glory which Indian football had once upon a time. So thank you so much, viewers, and thank you so much, Mr. Jaydeep Basu, for your time. We look forward to hosting you once again as we come to the next match when India plays Bangladesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjeet, and thank you. And if this match is not a wake-up call, then I must say they should be all of them should be renamed as Puma Furnace. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.